So a lot of business owners do the same thing over and over again without looking at their biggest constraint in the business. And part of that happens to be with the ads, right? If the ads aren't working, what they'll do is they'll try tons of new creatives, new hooks, all this stuff, and they keep repeating the same problems over and over again, pouring more money into their ads that aren't working and not sure why they're not working, right? So a lot of people that I speak to, what they do is they spend a ton of money on their ads, and what they do is they're trying to live this like live fast die hard strategy of, I'm going to pour hundreds of dollars a day into this campaign and I need to see results right away. But I want to offer up an alternative that's a little bit more realistic, and it's going to save you a ton of stress. So what I like to do is I run a slightly different approach. My approach is by understanding what the algorithm is actually looking for, okay? So we have to understand that the Andromeda update, which is that new AI ad update, it is looking for the right piece of content for the right person and to show it at the right time. So it's really a key point of all of this is that the platform that you're putting your ads onto is an entertainment platform, right? It's disguised as entertainment. It's really an ad platform. But it's super important to remember that when we're advertising to people, that most people don't want to be hard sold to for anything. What they need to see instead is they need to see a helpful product in use, right? That's why YouTube is such a great platform, is because people give demonstrations of what it is that they're doing and what kind of offers they have, or the benefits, or the proof that it works, and all the good stuff that goes along with that. And then that naturally attracts the right people that would buy the product. That's similarly why if you see an ad for something on a particular platform, you might start seeing that ad follow you around from platform to platform, from YouTube to Instagram to TikTok, right? It's that repetition and seeing the product in use and how it can help, and then measuring and repelling the right and wrong audience to that product through engagement, right? So that is really what the platform is built to do. It's there to really filter out all this content and figure out who to show it to and who's going to actually want to consume this content, because its whole job is to generate as much watch time for the platform as possible, because this is how they make money, right? The platforms themselves are free to use, but they get paid through our advertising dollars. So it's up to them to get the advertisements in front of the right people at the right time. And part of that equation that a lot of people seem to miss is that we're missing the fact that there's a very small sliver of people out there, and I've gone over this before, but it's only about 2 to 3% at any given point in time are actually ready to buy something today, right now, this moment. So that means that if we combine that idea, right? So 2 to 3% are ready to buy, 97, 98% are not ready to buy right now. And then we combine that with Google's statistic, which is that people are taking longer to make their buying decisions, right? The economy has been difficult for a lot of people. People are very careful with their money these days. And it takes about 7 hours of content on 11 different touch points. So that could be 11 different ads or different blog posts, ad, podcast, YouTube video, Instagram reel, whatever, on 4 different platforms. So that right there shows that there's a huge diversification of where people are consuming content and how they're actually making their buying decisions. And that goes back to what I was saying before about how ads might follow you from platform to platform. You might notice that the ad followed you when you were watching TV. It's the same thing. It's getting in front of you and reminding you so that you're kind of like top of mind. And so this actually came up yesterday, and I think it's a great example, is if you, depending on where you live, of course, but around here in New York, we get a lot of lawyers, right? And what they'll do is for their advertising is they'll plaster their ads on the buses and in the in the bus stations, in the train stations. It's everywhere. It's on TV. It's on Instagram. It's everywhere you go. And they understand that as an injury lawyer, they're not going to get 99% of the people out there that need a lawyer. Like, most people don't need an injury lawyer unless something comes up, right? But the idea is the long game that they're playing, because when that time comes that you might need somebody, who are you going to call? There's probably two companies in my mind right now that I would call, and that's only because their ads are everywhere, and I've been seeing some of the ads for like 20 years. So how this works with the Andromeda update is that we're actually needing to build out our ads in a different way. So instead of trying to get this really fast sale where we're pumping in $80 a day and we're just trying to get a conversion and we're looking at like click metrics, instead of doing that, I like to do this where we're actually gathering enough watch time from people, and then we're distilling that down into a set of ads. So this is, you could think of it like a conveyor belt where we're pulling these people down into our conveyor belt. So the idea is that we're going after people with watch time, 3 to 5 minute videos, helpful videos about the product, why it works, how it works, all the good stuff, and then directing them to repetitive content that they will keep seeing over time. And the idea with this is that you have people here at the beginning, and I'll use a different color. We have people here at the beginning that are not ready to buy, and then over time, remember, 7 hours of content, 11 touch points, 4 platforms. At some point down the road, after they get to that 7 hours, then we start getting the people that are ready to buy your product, right? They want to hear more about you. They want to understand what it is. You might also be restricted by the type of industry that you're in. So if you're like a lawyer, or you're doing any kind of healthcare, or if you're like a health coach or any kind of coaching like that, or financial stuff, you have to be very careful with how you advertise. And this is a great strategy for that, because if you're just providing helpful content about the services that you offer, right? Why it's good to have burial insurance, why it's good to have a financial planner, etc., then you're going to naturally get these people to ready to buy, and you don't have to worry about all the ins and outs of getting your ad rejected. And what's great about this strategy is once you have that one person over here, right? Again, over time, it's not one person that's on this conveyor belt, right? We're pulling in hundreds, if not thousands of people onto this list. And then what we're doing is once they get to the end here, you're going to have tons of people that are ready to buy because they've all arrived at the same time. And then it's a consistent thing. It's an ongoing machine. And that's really the best way, in my opinion, the best way to think about advertising is that we're building a machine that keeps on running. That way we have leads coming in. It's an ongoing process. And the best thing about this is we're not bidding, right? Because I was showing you guys the pie chart here. This is where a lot of people get the bidding wrong, because if everybody's direct selling 2 to 3%, well, what do you think happens to the bid price for that audience? It goes sky high. So you end up paying this huge amount of money. You might be paying $30 a lead, $40 a lead, $100 a lead. Well, that's because you're bidding on the 2 to 3%, the people that are ready to buy right now today. But if you switched your strategy and you did this, the 97 to 98%, well, the price of that is literally pennies on the dollar. You could get views for like 9 cents a view. Think about that. Think about all the extra runway you get. So if you were doing, let's say you ran an ad 3 to 5 minutes, okay? You got 25% of those views, right? So that means somebody watched about 1 minute to 2 minutes of your content, okay? Somebody that stuck around for the 1 minute to 2 minutes, that 25% view, is a lot more engaged than somebody that watched a 5-second or a 15-second clip where you're trying to hard sell them on something. If you're providing value in those 1 to 2 minutes, that means that you have a higher quality person that's technically on your list, okay? That's the data that Andromeda needs to actually understand who your ideal customer is. So that 1 to 2%, or sorry, rather that 1 to 2 minutes, right, with the 25% views, those are the people that we send to our conveyor belt because they're already showing that they're interested. Okay, so if you're talking about burial insurance, which is usually a pretty boring topic, but you're talking about the ins and outs of having to deal with it, or what the family has to go through, or how you can avoid XYZ payments, or maybe you could save money, whatever it is, you get those interested people on that conveyor belt. Well, guess what? When it's time to buy the burial insurance, who are they going to go to? You are going to be the answer to their problems. And that is the system that we're building out. And again, because we're doing a bidding system where we're bidding on the 97 to 98% of the people out there, we're paying pennies on the dollars for these views, and we're playing a long game, right? So very cheap, ongoing. We're always posting new content. The conveyor belt is new content, and we're keeping the flow moving forward, and we're keeping those people on that belt moving towards us. So if you guys like this video, please drop a like, give me a comment, let me know what you think of this, and I'll catch you soon.